Hello and welcome to Lionsgate, grand opening. I'm here with Susan LeVan. She is not only one of our regular readers here at Lionsgate, but she's also going to be teaching the Intro to Tarot class. So we want to welcome you back to the grand opening day of Lionsgate. And Susan, I'd like you to tell us a little bit about your tarot history. What's going on in your tarot life?
All right, well, hello everyone. My tarot life began probably over 30 years ago when someone gave me a deck. And it was a Rider-Waite deck, probably the most prolific deck out there. And it was interesting. I kind of liked it. I messed around with it a little bit. But at that point, I was building a career. I was raising a family. I was way too busy. And so it wasn't until maybe 20 years later that I really started looking at tarot. And at that point, I was buying books and taking classes and giving readings, getting readings. And I discovered that I absolutely loved how the art connects me with my intuition and helps other people connect to their intuition. And then in the last couple of years, when I began to study Druidism, I learned about the collective unconsciousness, what the Welsh call Nuifra, and this idea that we all have light that just flows through us constantly, and that when we tune into our energy, we can connect to the energy of other people. And there's a lot of wisdom to be had out there when you learn how to connect like that. So I was lucky. I had the kind of job that I sometimes got to travel. I got to teach courses for Digital Equipment Corporation that had nothing whatsoever to do with tarot. If you ever want to know how to build an application to run on the A to Z platform, just let me know. But but I would bring my tarot cards with me. And so I'd be sitting in a cafe somewhere in Paris, and I'd have my cards out. And people would come over and they'd ask me to read for them. And most people are bilingual, and so I would do a reading and I'd throw in my 3 or 4 French words and they'd fill in the rest, and we'd end up with something that worked. And this tendency to bring the cards and read actually grew as time passed, because I have a daughter who now lives in the French Alps. And so I meet her all over Europe for, mother-daughter time. And we both bring our tarot cards, and she is bilingual, and so we read in our languages. And the most recent of these was the Azores, an archipelago off the coast of Portugal. And that was this past April. And we managed to read for the Tourist Bureau in City Ciudades, and for a Harvard graduate that we met languishing by the seaside in Ponta Delgada.
Both your daughter and your son have a plethora of tarot decks and interest between the two of them, correct?
Oh, yes. Well, my son owns several, and my daughter owns a few, not so many. I'm the one that owns the plethora. Yeah. I have a suitcase out there in a closet. It's got over 20 decks in it, because I am giving readings today. So if someone wanted a particular deck and I happen to have it, then I wanted to offer it. But part of why I have so many is that I like to study mythology. I like knowing what different people in the world believe or believed in the past. And I like seeing how there are these archetypes that just weave in and out of the stories of so many cultures. It absolutely fascinates me. And there's a lot of universal truth. So I find tarot a lovely entryway into that. And in the case of my daughter, she actually is so inspired that she's about 2/3 finished painting her own deck. And so each card is being hand painted in her studio and then photographed, and we're collaborating on a book to go with them. So it's her artwork and the two of us working together on the text itself. So that's given me yet another excuse to dive in and study and learn more. And that's a lot of what I'm planning to bring to the class when I teach it this fall. So
exactly where I was going.
Yeah,
Tell us about the class.
Really, when you find joy in something and you just want to bring it out into the world. And I think to myself, this has brought me so much pleasure, this learning and this connecting to intuition and connecting to the universal consciousness. And so the class is all about sharing that, giving people lots of hands-on time with the many, many decks, and lots of chances to practice different length spreads, from very simple to very complicated. Yeah.
Good.
And I'm looking forward. So it'll be mid-October when I get back from my next trip to the Southwest. And yes, I'll be bringing my tarot cards with me. So yeah, mid-October.
So you're going to be, so besides the fact that you're here at the grand opening today, where you can come and get a reading and experience a multi-deck reading. You use 2 to 3 decks when you do a reading.
Yeah, I did a reading yesterday and we used, I think, 3 decks. Yeah, 3.
And you are also going to be, not every Wednesday, but more Wednesdays than not through the fall. You're going to be here offering readings as well. So if you can't make the grand opening today, you can come on most Wednesdays, and you will find Sue here doing readings as well.
Yep, and I did bring flyers for the shop to display, and a few extras for people to take that describe both the readings and the class, which is a 6-week course. So I think a 6-week introduction will cover things like, you know, the history and some divination, go over all the major arcana, go over, you know, the minor arcana, the various suits and the court cards. So I think people hopefully would leave that class after those 6 weeks of meeting every Wednesday starting mid-October and flowing into just not right before Thanksgiving, but about a week and a half before. I think that would give them a good basis to work from.
Okay, well, I want to thank you very much for joining us. Again, we're here at Lions Gate, 88 Lions Gate, prosperity, manifestation, and rising ourselves up into a new consciousness. Come join us today. We're going to be here till 7 o'clock tonight, and I'm going to continue to be interviewing our other readers and teachers all day long. Dr. Kevin here. Namaste and out.